Welcome to our show, Obsessed, where we talk about cryptids, mythology, folklore, and whatever else we're currently obsessed with. I'm Caitlin Palmer.
And I'm Clay.
And we're
Obsessed.
Well, hello everybody. Wow, what a terrible, disgusting day in the South it is. It's 1,000 degrees, but at least it's going to rain. So it'll be 1,000 degrees and muggy.
Well, it's, evening, so maybe the rain will actually cool down the temperature instead of just making everything humid.
That would be nice.
It would be nice. I don't expect anything of the sort from Mississippi weather.
Nope. I hate it here.
But you may hear some thunder and rain in the background, and hopefully not our dog screaming about the thunder and rain in the background.
Right? I gave them drugs earlier. They should be okay.
Probably not enough drugs.
Maybe not. It takes a lot of drugs for our kids.
It does.
We're a drug family.
Well, Caitlin, do you know what I have for you today?
I know that it's a request, but that's all I know about it.
It was requested by Giselle.
Oh, yay, Giselle!
I was going to say, our top listener, Giselle.
Our number one girl. She's perhaps the coolest kid.
But she has requested that we do an episode on the Nereids.
Ooh!
The Nereids, or sometimes pronounced the Nereids.
I would not pronounce it that way.
Well, it's Greek, so there's no right way to pronounce this.
I guess that's true. No one's here to correct us.
I mean, Greece still exists.
Oh, well, I guess you're right. Oops.
I think maybe you're thinking Latin.
I think you're right.
So the Nereids is probably something you might have heard of before. It's a lot like the word wyvern in that we use it sort of like, you'd use any other synonym for something that's similar.
Right.
So a lot of people use wyverns in place of dragon just to not say dragon over and over again, especially in like books.
Right.
But that's not completely true, since a wyvern is different from a traditional dragon in that Nereids are different than your traditional nature spirits.
Oh.
A lot of times they'll use it just as a placeholder for any water spirit.
Okay, so is nymph like the root word?
Nymph is sort of like the classification. Nymph is to dragon what Nereid is to wyvern. So the Nereids are sea nymphs.
Oh.
So there you go. Other, aquatic fairy type creatures that you might heard of before is like Undine.
She was a fairy.
But Nereid is a very specific thing. It is not just simply a water spirit. It is specifically one of 50 daughters of, quote, the old man of the sea, Nereus. And
the old man la mer?
And the Oceanid Doris. Sorry, an enormous douchebag came driving down our driveway with his speakers blaring. These probably don't sound very familiar, but one name that does sound familiar would be Poseidon.
Oh, I know him.
So Poseidon is the god of the sea, and Nereus is the old man of the sea.
Le old man la sea.
So he is a sea deity, but he's not like the sea deity like Poseidon is.
Would you call him a deity?
I'm leaving the silence in there so that our listeners know the look I gave you when you made that bad pun.
Whatever.
Nereus and Doris gave birth to 50 daughters who would become known as the Nereids, and a single son, Nereids. I just kind of threw that in there because it's like they had 50 daughters and one son, so there was something going on there.
And it was 100% the woman's fault and not the man's.
Right, yeah. That's a thing that people used to believe, which I can't remember how it actually goes. Someone is kind of responsible for the child.
The man. Yeah.
Well, but yeah, that was like a thing, and people would sort of dispose of wives when they wouldn't produce enough sons.
So so were they born like regular people, or were they like a clutch of eggs?
I am not sure how they were born. It does not really go into that as far as I can tell. It would make sense to be born as a clutch of eggs, since that's how fish give birth.
That's kind of sweet, little clutch of eggs.
But probably not. It was Greek mythology, so it was probably something brutal, like how all the gods came from Kronos after his testicles got sliced off.
Wonderful.
Yeah, all of the gods like Zeus and stuff were born from Kronos' testicle blood.
Oh. On the scope of
Greek.
the wizard. That's metal.
Greek mythology is kind of gross.
Yeah.
That's just how it be.
Most things in life are gross, though. Like, don't be put off from life just because it's gross.
So the Old Man of the Sea is mentioned in Homer's Odyssey, and there's a little back and forth about like who came up with this name first, and it seems like Homer did not. So this was something that existed beforehand, although it just kind of didn't get talked about a lot, I suppose. But so, in case you're wondering, doesn't come from Homer's epic. It's not something that was invented there. This was already in Greek mythology.
But they are in Homer's epic.
But they are in Homer's epic, yeah. Which Homer's epic,
it encompasses a lot of things.
It talks about a lot of things.
Yeah.
And it talks about a lot of different Greek creatures of mythos and minor deities and that kind of thing.
Sure.
But it did not invent these particular sea deities. Nereus, the Old Man of the Sea, seems to only be involved in the fact that he is the father of these 50 daughters. So it's kind of assumed that he was created after the 50 daughters. Like they were the first thing created in the mythos, and they're like, well, they had a father, and his name is Nereus. So
they looked at their phones.
Yeah, he's a tertiary character at best.
Right.
So a rare instance of actually a prominent male being booted back to tertiary character status in exchange for the women being the focal point of a story. So that's kind of interesting.
That's why our girl Giselle wanted this topic.
Yeah, maybe. She might have already known that. This is Greek mythology. Usually it goes around, the big, strong dudes that are involved.
Right.
You hear anything about Zeus or Ares or Heracles. The Nereids serve a purpose in Greek mythology, and that's mainly to sort of draw attention to the beauty and the love that the sea provides for mankind, right? For Greece especially, being next to, I'd say the ocean. I think they're actually only next to a sea. I'd have to look at a map. Relying heavily on large bodies of water.
Right. Well, we all do, really, when you think about it.
Poseidon's a pretty well-known Greek god.
He's a pretty powerful dude.
If you sort of look at the stories that he's involved in and things like that, Zeus is the main guy, but Poseidon is pretty much always right behind him, and it is because of how important the ocean and the sea are to Greece,
right,
as a country. A lot of their food came from obviously fishing and the like, and they were in a prime spot for trade routes.
Yeah.
Able to trade to lots of distant locations. They even became a pretty huge port back in the day for people traveling to other locations to stop at, to rest, to restock, what have you. So the ocean and the sea is very important, and the Nereids represent sort of that bounty, that kindness that the sea provides to the people of Greece.
Love it. What do they look like? Are they pretty?
They are represented as beautiful women, wearing crowns of red coral, and dressed in white silk robes trimmed with gold.
Oh, that's nice.
A very classic Greek appearance.
Right.
The white and gold. Typically, they are associated with the Aegean Sea, which is an elongated embayment of the Mediterranean Sea. I'm not sure what an elongated embayment is, but I know about the Mediterranean Sea, which is the body of water between, like, Europe and Asia.
Oh, okay. I only know about, like, Mediterranean salads.
Oh.
Yeah, they're good.
Okay, it's like a really large bay.
Okay.
If you can think of it that way.
Right.
And it's half surrounded by landmass, as in, like, three sides of it are surrounded by landmass, and then you've got a chain of islands that form an almost fourth wall.
It's kind of like an inverted peninsula.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
You can kind of think of it like that, like a water peninsula.
Yeah. An any peninsula.
I like it less when it's phrased that way.
I wasn't even trying to be dirty. I'm sorry.
So, all 50 of these Nereids are named, and I'll go into that later.
Oh, dear.
But first, I'll talk about some of the more popular Nereids.
Uh-huh.
There are 50 of them, so...
So, I've probably heard of one or two,
You might have heard of one of two. And that's the thing, they're in a lot of different Greek stories. They're all involved. It's kind of like any Greek story. It's like, well, we got 50 Nereids to choose from. Let's get one and throw them in there.
Sure.
So, for instance, a lot of people consider the most notable of the Nereids Thetis, wife of Peleus and mother of Achilles.
Oh.
Yeah, so Achilles was half water nymph.
Interesting.
And, I don't know, 3 times removed from godhood, I guess. Amphitrite is the wife of Poseidon and mother of Triton.
Okay, so I thought, don't at me. I thought Triton was made specifically for Disney's Little Mermaid.
That's fair. I thought that for a long time, too, until I found out Triton was, in fact, his own deity that existed beforehand.
I thought Triton was supposed to be like Poseidon, but then he was Disney.
That's fair, because a lot of Greek mythos was robbed from them by the Romans, and the Romans did their own thing where they're like, it's kind of like can I copy your homework? Sure, but change it up enough that the teacher won't. And that's what the Romans did with the Greek mythos, because there is a 1-to-1 for each one.
The whole
Which
world
one of planets are named after? Jupiter
That's true.
is the Zeus equivalent. Pluto is the Hades equivalent. Mars is the Ares equivalent. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
They're literally the same people. They just changed the names. They're like, it's Roman, so it's better. And then their kingdom fell like 100 years later or whatever.
As they got a little
You know what? Greece
too
is still
cheeky.
standing. Rome ain't.
I mean, just saying.
Well, Rome is still standing, but
Yeah.
the Roman Empire fell.
Right. Yeah.
They were poised to take over pretty much all of Eurasia. Not
Eurasia?
anymore. Eurasia. Eurasia. I'm sorry, there's a lot of Greek names that I'm having to read.
Yeah, Greek names are
They're
fun.
pronounced very strangely. There's a couple more that I saw listed, but honestly, I never heard of those stories, and I never heard of those characters. Like the Cyclops, Polyphemus.
Yeah, he's from the Odyssey.
He's an
Polyphemus,
Odyssey?
yeah.
Alright.
Polyphemus.
Well, Galatia is a love interest to that Cyclops.
Interesting.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They just kind of show up in every story. I guess the Odyssey is kind of a big one, so I can't say every small story.
It's an epic tale.
In one such story, Cassiopeia, I'm pretty sure I said that name right.
I've heard Cassiopeia and I've heard Cassiopeia.
Cassiopeia?
I don't know which is correct.
I like Cassiopeia better. It sounds less like a keyboard company.
It sounds like cornucopia, which makes me think of Thanksgiving.
Anyway, she boasted that her daughter Andromeda was more beautiful than all the Nereids.
Oh.
Who got really upset.
Just like a woman.
Just like 50 women.
Am I right, ladies?
So they got upset. Poseidon, being married to one of them, so looked at his 49 sister-in-laws and was okay, fine, I'll do something about it. And he sent a flood and a sea monster.
To destroy Andromeda?
Yeah, to the land of the Ethiopians, demanding the sacrifice of Andromeda.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's the only thing that can make it right. Blood must be spilled.
It's also said that they revealed to men the mysteries of Dionysus and Persephone.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Which I'm not sure what the mysteries of Dionysus and Persephone are.
Isn't Dionysus like the really fun drinking god?
Dionysus definitely has to do with drinking. The god of winemaking.
Yeah, he's like
orchards
fun
and
and
fruit.
revelry.
Hold on, who's Bacchus? Is that Greek?
Oh, wait. Maybe.
Well, I think Bacchus is the god of wine, and Dionysus is the god of winemaking.
Oh. Friends.
There's a lot of Greek gods.
Yeah.
Something that, like, Greek mythos, Hindu religion, and Egyptian mythos do is that there's a shit ton of gods.
Right.
There's a lot of gods, and they do a lot of different things. There's a god for everything.
Yeah.
In fact, one quote I had seen is that there is a Hindu god for every Indian in India.
Interesting.
Which
they're like Pokemon.
Well, it's an exaggeration, but it's like every town has an Indian god.
Right.
Kind of like how Athens had Athena.
Right.
It's kind of like in Hinduism, there's so many gods.
Right.
There's so many gods. They're all really cool. I love the Hindu god design.
Yeah, Krishna's really cool.
Krishna's cool. Ganesh is super tight. I really like Kumbhakarna, who's not actually a Hindu deity, but he's like a super powerful demon, and brother to Ravana.
Oh, we love Ravana.
Love a Ravana. But he's really cool. Look at this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he's neat.
Oh, wow. He's never had a bad day.
I'll link those on our social media. So good. I love him so much. Although I think he's an antagonist in the stories he appears in.
Oh,
being a big demon, but you know.
Sorry, I don't know who he is. I just know he looks real happy.
Yeah,
he's
I
just
like
happy to be here.
I just like how he looks.
Yeah.
I like the art of
He
Kumbhakarna.
brings me joy.
So the Nereids were pretty universally celebrated, particularly by sailors, as they were said to, assist them whenever they were, say, stranded, run aground, or in turbulent waters, such as you might find yourself if a storm encroached upon your sailing vessel.
So pretty much the exact opposite of a siren is what you're telling me.
Yeah, kind of the opposite of your typical siren affair. Not leading them to their deaths, but rather leading them to salvation.
Oh, that's nice.
Pretty much any fishing port that you'd find in ancient Greece would have a shrine to one or more Nereids.
Oh, goodness.
Something that you would pray to when you got off the boat, and something you'd pray to before you
Get on the boat.
get on the boat. Right. You want the Nereids on your side, obviously.
Right.
Because the sea is a cruel mistress. Poseidon is quick to anger.
Yes, he is.
And the Nereids are the only ones you can call on for help. Their primary role were to act as attendants to Poseidon. So that, the one sister married Poseidon. So they were kind of like how royals would do. Like, the family would marry into it.
Right.
And they'd become, dukes and ladies and that kind of thing.
Such,
They'd rise to the nobility class. The old man of the sea was only a minor deity. So having one of his daughters marry Poseidon was obviously a huge boon for him. And obviously for his daughters. Because Poseidon rules over all, and if you're on, his good side, you've got it made.
Yeah. Maybe we need to suck up to Poseidon.
Maybe. So they obviously frolicked amongst the waves and sunned on the rocks, but they were pretty much almost exclusively concentrated to the Aegean Sea, which, as we discussed, is a smaller portion of the Mediterranean Sea.
Right.
But it wouldn't be uncommon to still find a shrine or some artwork of Nereids amongst other port towns.
Right.
One thing that religion is good at doing is spreading.
Right. Especially by ship. So.
Especially by ship. Sailors were amongst the most superstitious.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't really understand a lot about sailing and how nature works. And water can do some pretty crazy things.
Yes, it can. Water's scary. Like those square waves.
Right, yeah. You've got your riptides, you've got your... I forget what you call the square waves. You've got rogue waves, which actually we thought were a myth up until pretty recently, all things considered.
Oh, we're learning stuff about the ocean, like just water in general every day.
Which, if you don't know what a rogue wave is, it is a huge boat-destroying wave that comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be related to, like, you don't even have to be in a storm. It can just kind of show up.
Nice.
Waves are typically somewhat predictable, with them all being in either like gradually increasing or decreasing intensity,
right,
as it ebbs and flows, if you will, as water tends to do. And then rogue waves just kind of come out and it's like, actually, I'm 4 times as large as the last biggest wave you saw for no reason, and you're dead.
Yeah.
Because
icon.
Even today, if your boat gets capsized by a wave, you're probably not going to survive.
Probably not.
Probably not. Not unless you were traveling with a bunch of other ships who could maybe rescue you.
Right. It's like Titanic.
Yeah.
I would have gone down with the ship because I wouldn't have left my dog.
What, did somebody leave a dog in the Titanic?
Well, a lot of people didn't get on the boats because they wouldn't let animals on the ships. One lady was found floating with her Great Danes. Isn't that sad? Mm-hmm. That brought us way down. But one person insisted on taking their dog, and there was a little dog who survived the Titanic. And I believe that was me in a past life.
So the Nereids were all responsible for different aspects of the sea. Mm-hmm. So for instance, you would have, in which a lot of this isn't agreed upon, I should say. Even just the list of names isn't particularly agreed upon. Because, the other thing that religion's good at doing.
Changing everything.
Changing every now and then. People would mishear the names or get things confused, You had 100 countries along the shoreline.
Or maybe they just didn't vibe with that name and changed
Maybe
it.
they didn't vibe with the name. I don't know. It's hard to remember 50 names.
Fair enough.
So things would get changed. But my point that I'm trying to make is you would have... Each Nereid would be responsible for a different aspect of the sea. So you would have Actea, who was sort of like the personification of the shoreline.
Okay.
So like the sands.
Where it meets. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
Or Melite, who was calm seas, calm waters. Or, the faces I'm making trying to pronounce these names, Eulamine, who was good harboring.
Aw.
It is said that Thetis was the de facto leader of the Nereids. Thetis was said to be the most beautiful of the 50 sisters. Mm. And her looks attracted both Zeus and Poseidon.
Oh.
Which is not good for Greek mythology, because we know how Zeus is.
But on par.
We haven't really talked about Zeus on this podcast, but me and you know about how Zeus is.
We know about Zeus. Zeus be freaky. In a weird way.
Zeus
I am king
sucks.
shaming. Yeah. Because Zeus sucks.
But before either god could, quote unquote, have their way with Thetis, a prophecy was foretold that the son of Thetis would become even more powerful than their father.
Oh, so they're like, not it.
Right, yeah. So they're like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to have some half-mortal kill me.
Right.
Because they're gods, but they know how.
Right.
Hey, look, I know how these stories go. So that kept both of them from pursuing Thetis even further. Instead, Zeus arranged for Thetis to be married off to a mortal, so that this son that would become more powerful than their father wouldn't rival the gods.
Right, he'd just be more powerful than some guy.
The mortal they chose, though, was the Greek hero Peleus.
Oh.
Now, that name probably doesn't sound very familiar, but Peleus would have one son, Achilles. And of course, while Achilles was still young, it was Thetis who would attempt to make him immortal, making use of ambrosia and fire to burn away the mortal part of Achilles.
Interesting. My mom makes, it's called ambrosia, but it's like a fruit dessert, and it's very good. It's got coconut and oranges and cherries and ambrosia.
Ambrosia. I think ambrosia was like...
It's like the nectar of the gods.
Right, nectar of the gods.
It's very good.
So, naming your food ambrosia, it better be friggin' good.
It's pretty good.
Okay, that's fair. As long as it's pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It doesn't even have to be the best, just pretty good for me to be like, alright, fine, you can call it ambrosia.
Yeah, it's ambrosia. You know what's ambrosia? You know what's ambrosia? Those peach ice creams that look like a real peach, and they're from Japan, and they're expensive, but they're so good. So good.
So I did mention that the names are difficult to keep track of for the Nereids.
Right.
Well, so too are the numbers.
Yeah.
Allegedly, the most agreed upon is 50.
Right.
But there are others that will argue that there were up to 100.
Oh, jeez.
Which is a lot, but honestly, 100 does sound more like the number you pick when you're coming up with stuff like this.
Honestly, though, yeah.
Because it's a nice, even number. But I'm gonna go out on a limb. I'm gonna say, from what I've seen, I think it's 50.
Yeah.
And that's because I found a list. I found a list, and there's 50 on that list.
Oh, interesting. What are their names?
Oh, boy. I guess we're ready for that part of the podcast.
You want me to try to read them?
No, I could do it. So I'm not going to read all of the Nereids' names. There are so friggin' many. Instead, I'll read you the ones that I could find where they talked about what they represented or what they did.
Okay, fair enough.
So we've got Proto, who was the protector of the first voyage.
Oh.
Known as the Nereid of sailing.
Love her.
So just sailing in general.
Yeah.
You've got Dioname.
Probably Dioname.
Dioname, that sounds Greek. Who is known as being representative of the sea's power.
Oh.
Doto, who was, her name translating to generous offers, was known as the Nereid of the safe voyage or the generous catch to fishermen. Galatea, I'm pretty sure I'm saying that one right, is the creator of sea foam.
Oh, the Little Mermaid sea foam.
Yeah, well, she turns into sea foam when she,
Yeah, the real Hans Christian Andersen Little Mermaid. Oh, rough.
Thetis being the protector of generation, or like the spawning of fish.
Oh. So not like people generations, like...
Right. I think Amphitrite. That sounds Greek. Of course, was the wife of Poseidon and became known as the Queen of the Sea.
Oh, I want to be the Queen of the Sea.
You want to be the Queen of the Sea?
Will you be Poseidon and I'll be the Queen of the Sea?
I'm not vengeful enough to be Poseidon.
I'm not either.
Which is saying something, because I consider myself a pretty vengeful person.
He is. He's a Scorpio. If you've ever wronged Clay, he remembers.
If you've ever done, I will remember forever.
Yeah. If you've ever hurt me, Clay knows.
So nymphs in general are usually associated with fertility or the growing of things, the protecting of nature.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Nereids embody that, but specifically for water. So if you want to find yourself on the bad side of the Nereids, all you've got to do is throw your trash in the ocean.
Oh, you shouldn't do that.
Well,
not just for the Nereids. Like, just don't do that.
But I'm glad that there will be 50 to 100 Nereids that show up to beat you up if you don't cut your soda bottle.
Oh yeah, the rings.
Soda bottle rings, yeah, so that it doesn't kill all the sea turtles.
Oh gosh, I still cut those.
Yeah, I do too. Even though they probably just end up in a landfill based on
here,
where we're
definitely, yeah. But ugh.
Yeah. Also, can I just say, sea turtles, they're a lot bigger than you think they are.
And have you seen the inside of their mouths?
Google the inside of a sea turtle mouth.
Pause right now and look up the inside of a sea turtle mouth.
And that's the hell that awaits you if you anger the Nereids.
So just don't.
So, Nereids inhabit saltwater. It is the Naiads who you would find in, like, lakes or rivers.
Oh.
So they're like the freshwater Nereids.
Oh, that's pretty.
Oreids, which you've probably heard me mention that name before because I'm a nerd, are nymphs of, like, caves and mountains.
I have not, but I love them and want to be one.
And the Alceids are forest nymphs.
Oh, no, that's the one I want.
That's the one you want?
Yeah, I want to be a forest nymph.
So know your nymphs.
Yeah. If you don't talk to your children about nymphs, who will?
Who will? If not them.
If not them.
If not them. So I could probably go on all day about all the different stories that the Nereids are present in, because I think every single one of them is present in a story.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there are some that are present in multiple stories.
Oh, I'm sure.
You can't be married to Poseidon and not show up in a few things. So
Right.
Amphitrite is probably in a couple.
Probably. If nothing else, just mentioned or in the background.
I guess I should say this, that I pulled all of my information from...
Wikipedia?
There was some Wikipedia, yes. Surprisingly, I didn't use a lot of Wikipedia.
Good.
I used mostly Greek Legends and Myths.com.
Ooh.
The Encyclopedia Britannica.
Oh, I love Encyclopedia Britannica.
I have issues with Encyclopedia Britannica.
What issues?
Sometimes it tells me things that I know aren't right, and I immediately find contradicting evidence for.
It's Encyclopedia Britannica.
I don't know what to say. I forgot what topic we did it on, but I got really upset. I think it was the Krampus one.
What did it say about Krampus?
It said something about Krampus that wasn't true because literally everywhere else said the opposite.
Okay.
But I still looked at it.
I stand with Encyclopedia Britannica.
And you can do that. I'm not saying they're wrong all the time, but they were definitely wrong that one instance with Krampus. But they helped me collect the info on Nereids.
Love it.
So if you're going out, it's summertime. If you're going to the beach, be sure to, maybe bring a little offering to the Nereids. I don't know what that is. Maybe fish food.
Maybe fish food or like a pretty rock or, just don't throw your trash in the water.
Yeah, if you could at least not throw your trash in the water.
That'd be cool.
That'd be a good one. Not leave your trash on the beach. Mm-hmm. That's nice for everybody, not just the Nereids. We all enjoy that.
Be nice to wildlife.
Yeah, please don't torture wildlife.
If you're going to Charles Island, do not look for the treasure.
Okay, a lot of times the offerings were wine and other liquids.
That's a good... if you offered me wine, I'd be cool.
Well, maybe don't pour the wine in the ocean. I don't know what other liquids entails. It says other liquids.
Don't go pee-pee in the water.
Don't go pee-pee in the water.
I don't think the Nereids... But, I mean...
A lot of people sacrificed animals.
Oh, that's not okay. Don't do that. But... I mean, gosh, if you
Maybe
you would have to pour the wine in, because to leave the glass
Yeah, you can't leave the
bottle
glass.
would be worse.
I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I know what the Nereids want. And you
Okay.
can believe me, because I'm an expert on things like this.
Okay.
I think they would like it if you maybe cleaned up the beach a little while you're there.
Oh.
Not just don't bring your own trash, but if you see trash, maybe pick it up.
Yeah, to be a good human.
Yeah.
We
be a
don't
good
go to
human.
the beach because it's hot. But everyone who does go to the beach, you crazies, just pick up trash.
Yeah, don't leave any trash around.
Don't be a doo-doo.
Don't be a doo-doo.
Didn't think I had to spell that one out for you.
Don't be a doo-doo. Yeah. Well, there you go. Now you know what to do. And, the Nereids won't kill you by summoning a riptide to drag you out to sea. That's another terrifying thing if you don't know what riptides are.
Yeah, riptides.
They kind of just kill you, and there's
No
not a
bueno.
whole lot you can do about it.
No. And they always post things like, oh, if you're ever in this situation, do that. Who's going to think to do that?
No one's thinking. By the time you realize that you have been snagged up by a riptide, you're already on your way out to sea. And here we go.
Here we go.
It's like you got to swim towards the shore, but a little bit to the
it's
side at a 45-degree
yeah.
angle. Don't swim directly to the shore because you won't beat a riptide.
No.
And they talk about how to recognize a riptide. Still not super noticeable, but, if the water looks weird, don't go near it, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the purpose of pretty much any story that involves, a creature of mythos and water.
Just
We
don't
talked
go
about
in
it like
the
with the
water.
kelpies and stuff. It's like, oh, if it looks weird, don't go near it. Don't go near
Right.
water by yourself. And that's good advice. Don't go swimming by yourself.
Don't go swimming by yourself. Unless you're in your swimming pool in your backyard.
People are always worried about sharks at the beach, but that is not the thing that will get you killed at the beach.
No, it's the Nereids.
It's the Nereids that will get you killed at the beach. I never saw them being super vengeful.
No, they kind of seem like they just do their thing.
Yeah, they just kind of.
But don't be prettier than them.
Yeah, don't be pretty, or don't say that you're prettier than.
Oh yeah, no.
Which there's so many stories in Greek mythos. I think we talked about that in Sirens too.
Yeah.
Just don't claim that you're prettier than gods, and
Yeah, just don't do that.
they won't smite you for it.
Maybe just don't do that.
Yeah, it's bad enough because sometimes you don't even got to say that you're prettier than the gods. Sometimes you
They just think
are,
they're
and
prettier,
they
yeah.
see you and they're like, "I'm going to take care of that.
Right.
I'm going to deal with this right now. This person's immortal, not immortal, but amortal."
Yeah.
Yeah, and stay away from Zeus.
Yeah, just don't. Just don't. Zeus.
We'll do an episode on Zeus one day, and you'll see why we're so hard on Zeus.
No, we're not talking about the cute Disney Zeus.
Yeah, this is
that
not
Zeus is cute.
Disney Hercules Zeus. Regular Zeus sucks.
Yeah, regular Zeus is just no bueno. Not even a little.
We were trying to keep this episode mostly G-rated.
Right. For our best friend Giselle.
G for Giselle. That's not how you're responding.
G for Giselle.
Is it with a J or a G?
A G.
It is a G. Okay, G for Giselle then.
Yes.
I said that like a drunk.
You did.
G for Giselle.
Clay's been drinking again.
Yeah, this root beer.
Yes.
Well, all right. I hope you enjoyed hearing about the Nereids.
I did. I learned a lot.
The myriad Nereids.
The
if you
myriad
will,
of Nereids.
as there are 50 or more of them.
Right. Much like states. And unfortunately, we're in this one.
Of all the states, we're in the worst one.
We're in the worst one.
I think we're rambling at this point.
I think so. Probably time to wrap it up.
All right, well, you're the one who says goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody. We love you. Bye.